So if you're currently a coach, consultant, and agency owner, and you're really trying to figure out how to price your service or your product, or you maybe perhaps are even thinking about to increase your price, right? Well, then this video is for you, because within this video, I'm going to break down how to price your service and increase your price by unlocking higher tier buyers, okay? And here's the thing, guys. Most coaches, consultants, and agency owners don't have an actual pricing problem. What they usually have is they have a market positioning problem. Why do I say that? Because most of the times, working with so many coaches, consultants, agency owners, I see that everybody's almost doing the same thing, right? They're pricing the same way, they're positioning their offer the same way, and what happens is they are creating red ocean waters, which means there's a lot of sharks, there's a lot of competition, everybody's eating each other, right? And this happens when usually like a coach, consultant, or agency owner would go into the market and like, hey, what is everybody offering? What can I maybe offer, right? And then they kind of are taking down prices and other features and values what other companies are offering, and then kind of adding them and kind of maybe changing some few things around and then trying to offer almost the same. And then what ends up happening is there's a lot of competition. Same for pricing. Sometimes I see a coach would take two competitors, competitor A, competitor B, and maybe price himself in the middle, okay? So what they try, so now that we understand that they have a market positioning problem, is they try to sometimes even charge more to the same audience, justify price with more deliverables, and compete on value instead of actual outcomes, right? So here's the thing. High ticket pricing doesn't come from being actual better, okay? It comes from selling to buyers who already pay more. So core principle, price is an actual signal. And here's what I mean. Your price currently tells the market, who is this for, right? Is this for 9-to-5ers? Is this for serious entrepreneurs? Is this for investors? Hold on, is this maybe for co-founders? Or maybe for entrepreneurs? This is maybe for doctors, right? Who is this for? What is the audience, right? It also tells what level of a problem do you solve. Do you solve a time problem, an energy problem, a money problem, a revenue problem, a lead problem, a client acquisition problem, right? What do you specifically solve? Is the problem worth 5K, 10K, 100K, or even maybe million, okay? How serious the buyer must be. Are you looking for a CEO to make a decision, a director to make a decision? Are you looking for a founder to make a decision, or a business to make a decision, right? How serious they must be, or maybe a 9-to-5er, or maybe part-timer, right? Or maybe side hustler. Who are you looking for? Like, how serious do they need to be, right? What's their like decision-making process? And then low prices, right? Let's talk about low prices. What do they usually attract? Price sensitivity, right? You attract people that are very sensitive about what they invest and how they invest. Then next thing, hesitation, a lot of hesitation. Like either even after you are explaining all the offer, you have tied them down, answered all their questions, solved all their objections, they kind of still hesitant, okay? Over-servicing, right? So these are clients usually you would need to over-service. Like they would never be happy. You need to service them. And also like slow decisions, okay? These are probably the worst clients that you could be working with. Is like low price clients, okay? Let's talk a little bit more about high price, right? What does high price attract? It attracts speed, authority, decision makers, and outcome focused buyers, okay? If I have to choose 100 times out of 100 times, I would choose high price buyers, because they trust more the process, because they're paying high price, so they think there's a high quality, there's a better ROI, and the journey will be much better as well, right? So we get speed, authority, decision makers, and outcome focused buyers, okay? A couple things I want to break down here. You don't convince high tier buyers, you align with them, right? With a low tier, you really probably have to do a lot of convincing. But with a higher tier, all you need to do is really you need to align, okay? Your service, your solution, whatever you're doing has to align with what they're currently trying to solve or trying to do, okay? Let's talk about step one. Anchor pricing to outcomes, not time or tasks, right? So lower tier pricing is based on hours, sessions, deliverables, and effort, right? Like that's where you sometimes would like working with a couple appointments that there's before in the Philippines. Sometimes we get people that say, "Hey, I want to get paid hourly." You would work with a coach, and then coach would tell you, "Well, I kind of charge per session, $150 per session," or perhaps on deliverables, right? On a certain project. Maybe they work on a certain project and they are charging you based on deliverables or maybe the actual effort that they're investing, okay? But when it comes to high tier pricing, this is entirely based on actual outcomes, revenue impact, risk reduction, and speed to actual results. So because, I can give you an example, because there's a clear outcome, because there's a big revenue impact or there's a small revenue impact, because there's risk reduction, people are more convinced that this is risk reversed in order for them to get to where they want. Because what people are they're looking for win-win situations, right? And specifically with higher pricing, usually higher operators will be looking for win-win situations like risk reversals. And if you do have outcomes, revenue impact, risk reduction, and speed to results, this all is also risk reversal because you're reversing that risk where there's like, okay, there's a clear guarantee, there's a clear result, there's a clear outcome, there's a clear impact, okay? So here I want to give you a couple examples, right? So for the coach, 12 coaching calls over 3 months. So instead of saying this, we could say install predictable client acquisition system in 90 days. Again, this could be something on a low tier and this could be something on a high tier, okay? Because here we are giving speed to results, so 90 days, risk reduction, okay, and revenue impact because we get installing predictable client acquisition system. And actually there's an outcome. In 90 days, you will have a predictable client acquisition system installed inside of your business. Same for consulting, right? Weekly consulting support. This sounds on a lower end. On the higher end, we get reduce operational bottlenecks and reclaim 10 plus hours a week. For agency, right? On the lower end, we will be ad management plus creatives. On the higher end, we would have generate qualified sales conversations at predictable CPA. So a lower end would always focus on the activity, okay? Where a higher end would actually focus on certainty, clarity, and the actual outcome, okay? So step 2, identify the ceiling of your current audience. Ask yourself honestly, okay? What does your current buyer already believe is expensive, right? What do they complain about paying for? How often do they actually hesitate, right? If your audience is asking you for discounts, they need convincing after I told you already, you have broke down the entire process, you have overcome all the objections, everything is clear. Like even for you, it doesn't make sense for them to say yeah. Like even for you, it doesn't make sense to ask more questions because you have already answered all the questions. And it doesn't make sense for you also to kind of wait for a decision because you have answered everything, but they still kind of need convincing. Well, then you're probably dealing with a low tier buyer, okay? And they always would compare you to cheaper options, okay? That means like you are dealing with a low tier buyers, which probably would be not your audience, right? So which means you are very capped. And you don't raise prices by actual force. The way you do it is you raise prices by changing who you actually sell to, okay? Let me give you an example. Step 3, define higher tier buyer, right? I worked with a coach. He was offering basically a muscle package, which basically means he builds muscle for full-time dads, okay? Now, when he came to us, we helped him to increase the price because he was offering it for 2.5K, full-time dads, people with kids, right? Also like need energy, need to be in top shape, need to be in health, right? So he helps to build muscle, he helps them to be in a top shape. What we helped him to do, we helped him to unlock a higher tier market, which means we will deliver his service for individuals that will have bigger impact from the actual outcome that he can deliver. And this was CEOs, founders, co-founders, and actual business owners, okay? And we went from 2.5K all the way up to 9.5K, okay? Just by changing the actual audience, okay? So define higher tier buyer. This unlocks a couple things. High tier buyers are different in 4 main ways. They already spend money, Okay, so the founders, CEOs, they understood that not only the business needs to be A1, but also their health need to be A1, right? They need to be looking like top performers. And this is where it was much easy for them to already be in this investing mindset and invest into their health as well, right? They already spend money, they value speed over savings, they think in ROI, like, hey, I have better health, I will have a better business. Now cost, and they buy to reduce complexity, okay? Couple example shifts. So we go from beginners wanting confidence to professionals wanting leverage and clarity. For consultants, this could be, from small operators trying to grow to operators already making money but stuck. We go from first-time advertisers to businesses already running ads efficiently. So same skill set, right? So exactly the same skill set, a different buyer because we have different messaging, and we can charge higher prices. Okay, so the same skill set, different buyer. It can be a higher tier buyer, higher price. The same what we did for the full time when Nick came in. Nick was offering his package to full time dads. He was offering his muscle package, and we just changed, right? So he had the same skills that we used, the same skills that we just offered it for CEOs, founders, and co-founders and business owners. So the same skill set, different buyer, but we charged higher prices. We went from 2.5 all the way to 9.5. Okay. Step 4: reposition the offer for the new buyer. Super important. So you don't add more work, you remove the noise. And when I say you remove the noise, it's like we do less, we show them more outcome, more clarity, and bigger impact. So this higher tier offers, right? So we do less, focus tighter, and promise clear outcomes. So example, instead of social media management plus ads plus funnels, we position as one acquisition system designed to produce X result in Y time frame, right? So we focus on doing less, right? So instead of saying social media management and then I have to think about what that actually looks like, I say, hey, we just do one acquisition system. We focus tighter, right? Designed to produce X result in Y time frame, which promises clearer outcomes, okay? So clarity scales pricing. Let's move into step 5. Use price as a filter, not an actual barrier. High prices repel the wrong people, and that's the actual point. When we're talking about high prices, when we talk about like 7K, 9K, 10K, it takes all the low time investors away from people to actually spending time with you, being on the call or going through a funnel or maybe going even through a webinar, right? When priced correctly, calls are shorter, objections are fewer, clients execute faster, and results come much easier as well, okay? And this is the same happened with Nick. He was originally offering 2.K offer. We moved that to 9.5K offer, right? When he was speaking before with full-time dads, he would get so many objections. He would get people saying, hey, well, I really need to talk to my spouse, or I really need to think about this decision because of this and this and that. When we increased the price to 9.5K offered to CEOs, founders, or co-founders or business owners, there was less objections. It was like, hey, do I need certain equipment? Do I need this? How does this work? And then once we explained, it was just basically about the process, and it was much easier to actually close them as well, okay? So calls are much shorter, objections are fewer, clients execute faster, results come easier, okay? Because people invest more money, they will do absolutely everything it takes to become successful because they're investing a lot of money. It's like when you buy a car, you will probably take care of that car for the first couple of years, okay? So you don't apologize for the price, you just actually frame it. This is designed for people who value speed, execution, and certainty. Because you need to understand, when you have a higher price point, you're gonna attract people that can afford that. And people usually that can afford higher prices and higher investments and that have the financial capabilities of doing that would usually be the people that understand the return of investment on what they're actually investing. So which would be speed, execution, and certainty, right? So let's move into step 6. Increase price through market, not actual ego, right? Never raise price just because you feel underpaid, you want more money, or others charge more, okay? No, sometimes this could work. You maybe be testing the price out and you maybe say to the closer, you know what, guys, let's go from 15K all the way to 20K and let's see if we can sell. And maybe you say, hey, we can't sell at 20, let's try 18, and somebody sells at 18, so that could be your new price. That's also could be, but you don't do it just because you feel you're underpaid and you say, hey, now I'm going to charge more, or you feel like you want more money and you're like, hey, I'm going to charge more, or others charge more and now you want to charge more. Okay, raise prices because you change the buyer, you change the outcome, or you reduced uncertainty, right? Once you change the buyer, you can change the price. Once you change the outcome, you can also change the price, but because that would justify of why now the price is what the price is. Okay, so again, this is super important because price follows positioning. So final mental shift for this training, and this is probably one of the most important shifts. Low tier thinking, how do I justify the price? High tier thinking is, who is this obviously worth it for? Okay, so who is this obviously worth it for? So the single question changes absolutely everything. Okay, so I hope this really helped you to drive home if you're currently thinking about how to price your service and how to increase your pricing by unlocking higher tier buyers. What I would usually say is, if you want to really unlock higher tier, I would focus on the higher tier buyers. Okay, so this would be, if you're doing full-time dads, then I go with like full-time dads that are CEOs, full-time dads that are founders, full-time dads that are business owners, because then now you are delivering much more impact for them, because for them running companies and being top shape means a lot. Okay, so if you currently are thinking to increase your price, really do consider this, what we just talked about, before you increase your prices as well. Okay, now a couple things that I want to do mention. If you are currently coach, consultant, or agency owner, really looking for the right system to be installed inside of your business so you can actually scale your business. Okay, so this means you are a coach, consultant, agency owner looking to scale your business. Then what I offer to you is to jump on a quick audit call. We will audit your business. We will also discuss your biggest bottleneck, show you how to we can solve it, and what we would do if we were in your shoes. And if we are a great fit working together, listen, we were actually going to guarantee you some results, which is 15 to 35 clients in the next 90 days. Or if we fail to deliver, you simply do not have to pay us. Okay, now couple filters there. You have to be a coach, consultant, or agency owner doing minimum of 5 to 10K per month and having an offer above 2K. If that's you and this sounds all interesting and you're looking for a system to install inside of your business to scale, then in the description there will be a link where you can schedule your quick call with us, and I will be more than happy to walk you step by step of how this system could be installed inside of your business. Other than that, I hope this video really delivered value, right? So we went through core principles, understanding the price is an actual signal. We went up like what the price actually attracts. We went also anchoring pricing to outcomes. We went through a couple examples. We went also identifying the ceiling of your current audience, defining higher tier buyers. We went after over a couple of examples as well, repositioning, using price as an actual filter as well, and increasing price to actual market, and then also a couple mental shifts as well. Okay, so I hope this really delivered a lot of value to you. Hopefully now you do understand what it takes to actually increase the price, or if you're looking to price your services, also understanding that as well, right? So I hope this delivered a lot of value to you, and I'll see you in my next video.